All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We hear a ton about the hardware, right? The chips powering our modern world. But today, we're looking at the ultimate power source behind all of that silicon, the people. We're going to map out this massive tech ecosystem and uncover the high-demand jobs that are literally driving the whole thing forward.
To truly grasp this booming job market, we've got to start with, well, the foundational question of our modern era. When we talk about these massive leaps in computing and breakthrough tech, what is actually running it all under the hood?
The answer? Semiconductors. They are basically these silent, incredibly fast-evolving engines behind absolutely everything today. We're talking about the heavy lifting required for AI, the complex sensors in autonomous vehicles, the sheer massive scale of industrial automation, and, of course, the devices sitting in your pocket right now. Literally none of this exists without a silicon foundation.
Moving into Section 1, the semiconductor heavyweights. To really get this ecosystem, you have to see how these massive companies actually rely on each other. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. You've got NVIDIA, right, leading the charge in AI acceleration with their advanced GPUs. But that heavily depends on Broadcom handling the critical networking and connectivity. Meanwhile, you have titans like AMD and Intel driving core processor tech, right alongside Micron and SK Hynix, who are just pushing the absolute boundaries of memory and data center capabilities. And tying the whole shebang together? The continuous push by every single one of these companies into advanced packaging. They all specialize in distinct pillars, but together they build the entire tech stack.
Which brings us to Section 2, the manufacturing backbone.
It's this completely symbiotic relationship. See, designing these powerful chips is honestly only half the battle. They actually have to be built into physical reality. On one side, you have manufacturing foundries like TSMC and Samsung relentlessly advancing the actual chip-making process. But they can't do it alone. No way. They are entirely supported by the specialized equipment side of things, relying super heavily on applied materials for the essential gear and ASML for highly specialized tools.
To truly grasp the sheer scale of engineering we're talking about here, we've got to look at ASML's lithography systems. These are unimaginably complex machines. They are absolutely required by the leading foundries to literally print the next generation of semiconductor chips. And the level of precision here, it's practically atomic. Actually, to put it into perspective, these machines are printing circuit lines significantly thinner than a single strand of human DNA. Yeah, you heard that right. Creating tech at that microscopic scale just requires a mind-blowing amount of innovation.
Now for Section 3, high-demand semiconductor jobs.
So here is the kicker. This massive hardware scaling across the entire ecosystem, from designers like NVIDIA and Intel to foundries like TSMC, all the way to equipment makers like ASML, it's creating an absolutely urgent need for human talent. The rapid growth across all these heavyweights means we desperately need specialized people to actually run the hardware ecosystem. Honestly, the biggest bottleneck to innovation right now? It isn't just physics or hardware limits. It's finding enough brilliant minds to sustain the growth and do the actual work.
If you're looking to pivot into this sector, the demand is just skyrocketing across multiple disciplines. For sure, we're seeing incredible demand for chip design and verification, but it's not just the hardware architecture, right? There is a huge need for embedded software and firmware engineers just to make these chips actually communicate and function. Plus, the industry urgently needs RF engineering experts for connectivity and, of course, specialists in hands-on semiconductor manufacturing to keep those incredibly complex foundries running at peak efficiency.
And that brings us to Section 4, advancing your tech career.
Navigating a landscape like this really requires the right partnerships. Whether you're a hiring manager actively trying to build out a highly specialized team, or maybe you're a professional hoping to advance your own career in this space, you need a centralized hub. Connecting with European Tech Recruit is exactly how you discover those specialist talent solutions and uncover the best opportunities across this remarkably fast-growing sector. They essentially bridge that critical gap between the incredible companies we've been talking about and the talent needed to drive them all forward.
We've seen the monumental companies pushing the boundaries of AI, memory, and lithography. The companies are set, the infrastructure is expanding rapidly, and the jobs, they are wide open. So, the final question I'm going to leave you with today as we wrap up this explainer is this. With such a massive, urgent demand for human ingenuity in the semiconductor space, how will you step up to build the future of technology?